Welcome back to Starfish Coaching. I'm Eric Lee. Today for my Founders Interview Series, I have the honor of bringing on Andrew Rezmer to the show. There's so much about Andrew that I want to share, but today is about focusing on his business philosophies. He's an investor in businesses, investor in people. He's a serial entrepreneur. He's full of love, and his passion is about environmental change. So let's bring him on, and I want to see what wisdoms he can share with us. Andrew, welcome to the show. Thank you for coming on.
Thank you. Thanks for inviting me.
Yes, there's so much to you that I don't even know where to start. So why don't I let you do a quick introduction to yourself and the past business experiences that you've had, and then we'll dive into some questions.
Thank you. Well, the story of I think I could say lucky that I was forced back in Eastern Europe when I was growing up to be resourceful. Otherwise, I'll be bored with nothing to do. So I used this time and freedom that my mother allowed me to starting actually creating first income producing businesses from age 9.
Wow. Amazing.
And again, it was pure fluke, nothing special that I had done. It was just adapting to reality of my circumstances. And since then, I've probably invested or started at least 50 different businesses.
Amazing. Amazing. That said so much. Even though your first business, you call it fluke, but what matters is you started so early, right? And success is about experience, about failing and learning from and doing it better. So you had a head start on a lot of people.
True.
Excellent. But there's what I know of you, you have definitely overall business philosophies that you apply to all of your businesses. So I'd like to kind of dive into a bit of that and share with our audience. I know with you, one thing you do like to do is you believe in investing in the people. Maybe talk a bit about that.
Yeah. So when I choose to invest in business or buy or start a business, it's usually motivated by, first of all, a need that I recognize that there's a need, but it's not my approach. It's not necessarily from the materialistic point of view. Oh, there's niche here and I can make money using it and sell people some useless gadgets that they don't need, but they're going to buy anyway because marketing says that they should. My filter to invest in businesses is something that I personally believe, based on my values, that it's going to make the world a better place. So that starts with that idea. Okay, that would be cool if we could do this. And then I try to look for someone who is even more excited about it than me.
Right.
That person becomes my joint venture partner. And I come with ideas, I come with financial backing, I come with over 50 years now of business experience, and they come with their passion and time that they can invest. So I would not start a business or I would not invest in a business unless there is an individual that I know is going to do it, not because of salary, but because he or she feels the same way about how important it is to have this task accomplished.
Right. I find that approach so different and refreshing because a lot of business owners I work with, they are the opposite. They think that they have to do everything themselves. It's hard for them to let go of that control. They're perfectionists. They're worried that their business would crumble if they weren't managing it and running it the way that they want to. You have this completely different approach where you look for someone who's passionate about it, who is better than you, let's say, and you just kind of stand aside and let them do their stuff. Tell me more about that philosophy. Like, to you, it's probably normal, but to so many other business owners, it's so unnormal.
Well, I can't lie and tell you that that's how it started. No, it didn't. It started exactly the way you described. I thought that I know everything and I'm better than everyone else and nobody can do it as well as I can. So I was doing everything. I was doing accounting, I was doing calculation, I was doing visioning, I was doing, cold calling, warm calling, whatever, you name it. And on one hand, that probably was an important and valuable step in the process, because I could appreciate those roles that other people in my team now are playing. I've been in their shoes, and I know how hard or how easy some tasks could be. So now it's I think I have better appreciation for the roles, and also I'm able to connect with my team members on that level, because I'm not just talking from the standing already in the book. I'm talking from being in the trenches and doing those tasks.
Right. Share with our audience what helped you cross that chasm, because for many business owners it's hard to let go, but you've been able to do that so well. What helped change your thinking, your mindset to say, hey, I'm going to do it this way instead, and it's okay? Well, was there something some epiphany that you got, and you realized I don't need to do everything and I just invest in others?
Oh yeah, definitely. It was the time when I couldn't see my family because I was working so hard. That was the time when I remember my mother-in-law at the time was making fun of me at front of others, because she says, you know how Andrew eats dinner? He runs with his phone in one hand, grabs whatever is on the frying pan and runs out. That's his dinner.
Right.
So there was a time when it's obvious. I can't even enjoy vacation. I can't connect with my family. I don't have friends. I don't have any hobbies because I'm working, all the time.
Right.
So started inviting other assistants and build the company. And there was no way back after there's this realization. There's no, you go forward and you start inviting more and more passionate people.
Right. Yeah, I can relate, and I'm sure a lot of business owners and startup owners can relate. This is something I like to call the goose that lays the golden egg. Many business owners don't understand that when you start a business, the goal is not to buy yourself a job. The goal is to build a company so it's sustainable and you can be outside of it while it's making money. That's why I like to call it making that goose that lays the golden egg, so there's a recurring revenue source for you, even if you're not in the business. So that's what you're talking about. And you've crossed that chasm, you've gone to the other side where many people are stuck. So yeah, thank you. That's so great. I'd love to talk about some of your businesses, because you were able to do exactly that without being involved, and you turned it from losses to total profitability. I know of one, and that's Eternal Abundance right here in Vancouver. Maybe share a little bit about Eternal Abundance, what it does, how you got involved in it, what state was it, and then you kind of helped it through. Share a bit of that with us, please.
Yes. I'm going to describe exactly the path that it took, but I don't want to take credit for the entire success of it, because it is team building and a team involved in it. So yeah, Eternal Abundance was an organic grocery store, cafe, and health food store that started actually about 30 years ago in Toronto. And about 15 years ago or so, the owner of it moved to Vancouver. And that was the period of time when Choices, Whole Food stores, even Costa started adopting organic foods into their line. So it was difficult for the small shop like that to compete. And they were going down, they were going bankrupt. What was very unique about Eternal Abundance for me at this time was how the chain is designed to minimize the impact on the environment. Example of it.
Right.
If you go to a regular grocery store, 10% up to 30% of food is actually discarded because of, if there's a dot on an apple, they throw it away because there could be potential liability if there's bacteria in that dot. or other, if kale is a bit yellow, it goes actually to the garbage in most cases, not even biodegradable composting containers. So at Eternal Abundance, we don't have that problem because we're also a restaurant, meaning if the kale it doesn't even need to start getting yellow because we make kale chips, we make juices. So everything is fresh, everything is delivered daily, on daily basis. Food is prepared daily as well. So from 10 up to 30%, typically that's what the grocery store use or waste. In our case, it went down to 1 to 2% only. We decided to eliminate plastics. So if the product was wrapped in plastic, we would buy from another company that offers in more biodegradable containers or whatever. We would repackage products into glass, paper, and so on to minimize impact on the environment. So I like this concept of having a grocery store and a food and a restaurant in the same place. So I wanted to put enough money to save it from bankruptcy. And at the beginning, I thought maybe 40,000, 50,000 would do. Was I wrong? $400,000 later, the place is booming. But it's, again, not my necessarily full credit for it. I reached out to people who are concerned about the environment, who understand that vegan food has a lower impact on the environment, or it's better for health and so on. So I brought this entire team, and I told them, I'm going to be you're covering your back. If there is money needed, I'm going to invest it, and I'm not going to pay myself a penny. I'm not going to work. I'm going to be available, and I'm not paying. Everything that this venture does is going to be divided among staff members. So that's how it started, and that's how it attracted people who, like I said before, they're more passionate, they're more willing to put action behind their words than even I am.
Right. And I remember you telling me that you were able to get to profitability even without raising prices.
Oh, that was another, thank you for reminding me, another motivation that I wanted to prove, because people said, oh yeah, organic is just for rich, it costs so much more money, I can't afford it. So I decided to prove that you can actually eat freshly prepared, vegan, organic, raw meals at the same prices as you could do across the street from some, I'm not going to describe what some restaurants offer.
Right.
And so we kept prices stable for many years.
Wow.
Just to prove that. And
that's so interesting.
And we did.
Tell me what was the secret to doing that? Like how did you pull that off? Because obviously there's inflation, there's prices going up, and the assumption is that vegan raw is more expensive and less accessible. So how were you able to make that profitable?
Again, it's the motivation and passion of the staff members, of the people who are behind the scenes. They became more efficient. We find better products, better ingredients, different recipes. But the biggest is efficiency. People are motivated. They are passionate about the cause. They are going to stay that extra hour, or they are going to work that extra more, because it's not only for the $15 an hour, close to minimum wage they are getting. It's because of what we stand for.
That is so well put. This is something I do help a lot of my business clients with, and that is something I, as a fundamental when I go into business, I look at the alignment of values, of vision, and mission. A lot of companies are not efficient. They're not successful because their people do not have those alignments of the three most basic but very foundational things in a business. And that's what Andrew's talking about, right? If you find people who value the same things that you value, see the same vision for your company, and are pulling towards the same mission, that is so powerful. And Eternal Abundance is an example of how that can be successful. Thank you.
Yeah. And I think what I see lots of young entrepreneurs are missing or making mistake is going after something that is presumably going to make them rich overnight. There's this hunger, and I think with time it's even more visible because of the access to information, internet, and our Western value system, where individual or business is valued on their financial success, or how many gadgets they produce, or how many people they employ. It's all based on the consumptions, how much more business is consuming and allow other people to consume. And sooner or later, I think some of those business owners get to the point where they realize, oh my God, I was just looking for myself and my success defined that way, but the impact I have made on societies or my family or business or environment is so terrible. So I would urge the young entrepreneurs to look the other way, from the other point of view, is what am I passionate? What do I want the world to look like? How do I want my children or grandchildren to look back and see the beauty that we have created instead of destruction we have behind ourselves? And that the challenge is to make it successful financially at the same time. Because I have so many amazing, beautiful friends and people who are motivated, who have this vision, and they would put time and soul behind it, yet they have no plan how to make it sustainable financially for themselves and other people involved. So that's the biggest trick. Have business savvy, study the basic information that is required, do business plan, analyze how other successful businesses in the field are doing, but be motivated by change you can make, not that just money you can make.
That's so well put. There's so much in there. But for sure, I think that overall theme which you carry about reducing waste, about the environment impact, not many business people go out to business with that at the top of their list, right? It's always about something else. And if it's convenient, they make it environmental friendly. So I love how every business that you touch, that has a large aspect of it because it's so high on your value. Another one that you told me about was the yoga retreat in Costa Rica. Maybe share a bit about that, how you help to transform it and what it stands for.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so again, friends of mine who are very more passionate about yoga than I would ever be probably, they found this amazing opportunity, but they couldn't put it together. It's not easy to find financing in Costa Rica. It's not easy to find management, but they knew about the specific property, and literally one block from the beach, in the middle of the jungle, with a vegan restaurant that is attached to it, with beautiful kind of huts in the jungle, and the yoga studio in the middle of it. So I was interested because of what it represents. It represents the growth, and it's very environmentally well put together, this entire project. So my kind of response was, I'm going to give you enough money to buy this, and I'm going to negotiate a deal with the owners where we can have more creative type of arrangement, as long as you make a commitment that you move from BC to Costa Rica, and you're going to run this for me, and we're going to split the difference. I mean, we're going to split the profits. And on top of it, you'll get the salary, because obviously you're going to be living there. I'm not.
Right.
They agreed to that. And because of the commitment, because of the passion, they literally moved with their 2 kids into the jungle.
Wow.
And within a few months, before when we were buying this project with about 50% occupancy, 50% vacancy throughout the year, within a few months we had tried different marketing strategies, and by end of January that year, we already had the entire project booked until December.
Wow.
So literally over 95% occupancy within a few months. So again, but did I do it? No, I just created opportunity for people who are passionate about it, to show their passion and commitment to the cause.
Right. Yeah, that's another great example where you don't have to do it. You just have to find people who are passionate about it and help them get to that. The third business that I know you've touched so many, but this is a great example in the same theme of what we're talking about is the Hippocrates Institute. It's in Florida, right?
Correct.
Yeah, maybe share a bit of that about that because that's a super interesting story that our audience would love to hear.
Yeah, it's a kind of story of how silly sometimes I can get when something needs to be done, or at least that's my belief that something could be done. So we had a kind of tragic situation in my family many years ago, and that impacted my son, my older son. And the loss that he experienced created a situation that he was a little bit overweight. His weight was more than what he hoped for himself, and he was a bit depressed. One day he comes to me and says, "Dad, I want to change. What would you suggest for me to change? I want to start eating healthy. I want to quit, the bad habits I have." Well, the best thing is to go to Hippocrates Health Institute, one of the healthiest place on this continent. So I said, "I'm buying 2 tickets for next month." He says, "Why 2?" And I said, "Well, I'm going to make sure that the McDonald's that is just a couple blocks away not going to lure you out from Hippocrates. If I'm spending $10,000, I want to make sure that my investment is well protected." Actually, behind my thought, I thought maybe I'm just going to have a nice 3 weeks, good time with my son. We're going to connect better on a deeper level, and so on, so on. Well, it didn't work out this way exactly, because when someone is detoxifying and challenging that person is not necessarily interested in sitting in front of his dad and talking his soul out. So if I wanted David to be in the gym, I had to make sure that I'm not in the gym.
Right.
Because if I was there, he wouldn't go to the gym. If I wanted him to be at the class, I had to make sure that I'm not there. So for 3 weeks, I had, my plan didn't work to connect with my son, so I had to find something else to do. I started analyzing how this business works. There's 190 employees, there's different modalities that they use. They have 50 beautiful acres, buildings all over. So, and I found out that they're losing money. They're losing money to the point when they're actually, deciding what to do next. And I'm not a doctor. I never run, a big facility on 50 acres with 190 employees. I don't know much about, health, alternative health, but I know enough that this is such a beautiful place that I don't want to go to, to bankrupt or move to another country. So I offered them something that no business will ever say no to. I said, I'm willing to put together a marketing company that is going to help your business or your organization, and you don't have to pay me until there is a measurable profit beyond what this organization has been doing, and you only pay me a portion of that profit. So why would they say no? So I obviously needed to create a marketing company with people who are much better informed about health, alternative health, dieting, detoxification, all different modalities that are being used. Someone who can put that in the film format, someone who can do interviews, someone who can do the visual aspect. So we actually had a team who was living for 3 years in West Palm Beach.
Wow.
That I put together just like that because I wanted to be part of this organization, wanted to help, and it needed to be done. So I found people who could do it.
Wow.
For 3 years, we created over $4 million of additional income.
Amazing. How involved were you with the marketing company, or was it the same thing where you just found good people, passionate, and just let them go?
Yeah, I did. At the beginning, obviously, it required a bit more involvement because we took very big task of also motivating all the, informing the staff members, restructuring on the inside. So I was involved a little bit more, which it's not the end of the world, being in the paradise in West Palm Beach, Florida, eating the most healthy food on the planet and working with a motivated group of people.
Right.
So I would spend a couple of weeks in a month and then let them, be on their own. And then I would reduce that slowly and slowly when I saw that they are more and more independent.
Wow, that's such a great story. So you basically stumbled upon Hippocrates.
Yeah, I actually paid. First trip I paid to be there, and then next trips over the next 3 years, they paid me to come.
That's awesome. My company, Starfish Coaching, and our mission is to help people actualize their goals while aligning with their passion, which is exactly what you're doing already. And that's what I really admire about you. I think to end it off, there's so many more that I want to talk about, but might have to do another second series on this. But to end it off, I know one thing that you're also passionate and have a high value on is just your approach to life, and that's love. Like, you approach everything with love, and that's so beautiful. Maybe you can just share that philosophy of life with us as a final tip there.
Thank you. Well, I happen to believe that there is only two forces in the universe. In terms of human universe, there's either force towards acceptance, which we call love, or force of rejection, pushing away. So one or the other way. The other force in our human vocabulary is called fear. So either we are motivated by love, so building, creating, supporting, helping, or we are being created by fear of loss, fear of wanting to control, judgment, pushing away. I believe that when we actually realize that we have that choice, it's no brainer to choose love over fear.
Right. Yeah, that's beautiful. That's some good life coaching there from Andrew. Andrew also had.
And I remember when we had someone. Again, being open to everything. Love means that being open, not rejecting anything. So I think about 15 years ago, I was at some kind of workshop. I love going to workshops. I know you, Eric, you love it too. Experiential workshop, and someone was sharing their passion. They said, "Oh my God, my passion is to create a radio that is going to talk about those important issues, not politics, not weather, not the stuff that media talks about." And I said, "Well, why don't you do it? Why don't you know now how? It must be very difficult." It's difficult. A month later, we had a radio show called Conscious Living Radio that is still producing, interviews. I personally interviewed over 800 people just to prove that it could be done.
Yes. Yeah, and actually, I was gonna have you share a bit about that, because I think it's a great passion project. You guys interview very alternative people, but share so much knowledge in that. Please tell our audience how they can find Conscious Living Radio and what in general do you cover.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, we try to cover everything that we believe is important in life and is usually neglected in mass media. So we talk about obviously health, sustainability, environmental issues, but also about relationship, also about family, also about community, connections, and all those things that are important for us for survival, but we don't necessarily realize it until we lose it. So those are the topics that are covered. We decided not to have any promotion, any marketing. So the existence of this radio is purely by donations. And it's been functioning for almost 15 years now. And like Eric said, we try to interview people who have passion projects that are intended to help environment or society in a bigger scale. And they may need some marketing, but they don't have budget for marketing. So our radio becomes a platform to allow them to share their projects. And we have, in some years, we have over 3 million hits, meaning 3 million on Google stats. It shows how many people end up on your website. We had 3.5 million a year. So it is a substantial exposure for those kind of projects that otherwise may not have see the light of the day.
Right. No, that's great. I will post the URL on this video so that people can check that out. Thank you so much, Andrew, for your time. You are truly an amazing person who's living your life with purpose, with passion, aligned with your values, and you're a living example of that could be successful, right? And you're in perfect harmony that way. Thank you so much. So if you like this video, please leave some comments. And if you want to ask Andrew any questions, do that through the comments. Check in again for our next Founders Interview series. And please subscribe to our channel and help me support and grow this channel. Thank you so much.